We read of a place that's called heaven. It's made for the pure and the free. These truths in God's word he hath given. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be. Sweet home of the happy and free. Fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. In heaven, no drooping nor pining, no wishing for elsewhere to be. God's light is forever there shining. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be. Sweet home of the happy and free. Fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. The angels so sweetly are singing up there by the beautiful sea. Sweet chords from their gold harps are ringing. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be. Sweet home of the happy and free. Fair haven of rest for the weary. How beautiful heaven must be. How beautiful heaven must be.
Who are with us via live stream. You are here today with broken hearts. There are no words that can express how you're feeling today. But today, you're not asked for words. You're only asked to welcome the compassion and the love that is surrounding you in this room today. These people are here with compassion and the power of presence for you and the promise of understanding. My name is Eunice Friesen, and I'm honored to be here today as we gather to remember Jean Zatelny. Thank you all for coming. There is no better act of service than this, than for you to be here on one of the hardest days of this family's lives, walking beside Albert, Charlene, and Cindy and their families. We'll help them not only today, but in the coming days and weeks, as you celebrate that Jean's life made a big difference in their lives, but also in yours. Knowing the big impression that Jean made over a lifetime of deep friendships and service in her community, her family would love to hear from you today. And to that end, in a little bit, I'll be opening the mic so that you can come and share your stories of how Jean impacted your life, your fond memories, and perhaps a word of encouragement for her family. But first, let's reflect on the familiar poetic scripture of comfort, the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Psalm 23 uses beautiful imagery to remind us of the comfort and care of a loving shepherd. It's a presence that walks with us in joy and in sorrow. As we hold that comfort close, we now turn to remember Jean's life through stories and memories that best reflect the light she brought to those around her. I'd like to invite up Carmen Shirley to read the eulogy, followed by Jean's daughter Cindy with a tribute to her mom.
Thank you, Eunice. Well, as Eunice mentioned, my name is Carmen Shirley. I'm a longtime friend of the Zatelny family. In fact, it's 50 years this year, which is a long time. It's with special privilege and honor that I deliver Jean's eulogy on behalf of the family, as we commemorate Jean's unforgettable memory and remarkable life achievements. Jean was born with her father acting as midwife on March 7th, 1942, on the family farm in the Greenway district of Rycroft, Alberta, to Stephen and Mary Konopelka. She grew up on the homestead surrounded by her many siblings, Nick, Olga, Anne, Bill, Alexander, Alex, Mary, Alice, Lena, and Irene. That's a big family. As a child, Jean was always busy, whether she was making mud pies, sneaking peas from the garden, or enjoying family picnics and ball games in the pasture. Saturday nights were also a favorite, when relatives and neighbors gathered for barn dances filled with music, singing, and dancing that often lasted late into the evening. Of course, life on the farm was not all about having fun. Jean was expected to contribute to the household chores from a very young age. Jean helped in various ways: shelling peas, harvesting potatoes, butchering chickens, and had the daily duty of milking cows. She proudly thought, "One day I'll tell someone I milked a cow before school." Soon after, Jean dreamt that a cow had kicked over a pail of milk, only to wake up and have that exact event happen the next morning. When it was time to start school, Jean was a little less than enthusiastic, which is quite ironic, considering she ended up teaching for 40 years. When a family member informed her that she had to go to school, she angrily scattered objects all over the house. She didn't even know what school was. On her first day, Jean hid behind the stove and refused to budge. Her mother finally said, "Either go to school or you will be washing dishes at the local restaurant." That did the trick. Jean ended up loving school, especially when she shared donut holes with her friends on the school bus, and the nuns let her lick mixing bowls after baking cakes. Jean often completed her homework by the soft glow of the coal oil lamp seated next to the wood stove. When Sunday night guests interrupted her study routine, she would do her homework on the school bus the next morning, although the resulting motion sickness sometimes sent her straight to the school's nurse. By grade 7, she was regularly studying until 11 in the evening. Her diligence was recognized when her teacher, Mrs. Grimm, awarded her $1 for being the top student in the class. During her school years, Jean also took on various jobs. She dug potatoes for a neighbor and cleaned for another, washing walls and vacuuming. Unfortunately, her shyness prevented her from requesting her wages, and she was never paid for either job. She also worked hoeing cucumbers alongside her mother and sister Mary at Dunvegan, and this time she did get paid. However, it was in cucumbers. After high school, Jean went to the University of Alberta for 2 years to study education. Afterwards, she returned to teach in Spirit River and lived at her sister Olga's. One evening, Alex Zahara took Jean to a dance across the creeks. Albert happened to attend the same dance with a friend. It wasn't long before he noticed an attractive young woman, Jean, sitting alone on a bench and not dancing. Taking a chance, he walked over and asked her to dance, and from that moment on, the two of them danced the night away. Over the next few months, Jean often saw Albert driving around town with another girl. She'd say confidently, "I'll get a hold of him yet." Meanwhile, Albert couldn't get Jean off his mind. Eventually, Albert broke things off with the other girl. Determined to find Jean, he went to the school where she was teaching and asked the principal where she lived. He followed the directions and knocked on the door of Olga's house. "Does Jean live here?" he asked. Before Olga could answer, Jean's voice rang out from inside. "I do, I do, I do." Albert picked her up and took her to Courtesy Corner in Rycroft for coffee, and from then on, they saw each other on and off, and he would visit Jean while she attended her 3rd year of university. At one point, she considered taking a job in southern Alberta, but Albert gave her an ultimatum. "It's the job or me." Guess which one she chose. They went shopping for wedding rings at Central Jewelers. Jean instantly fell in love with the first ring she picked up, but the moment she saw the price, she quickly set it back down. Little did she know, that would be the ring. Albert later proposed in front of her family during Christmas. Jean was overjoyed and completely stunned to see the very same ring end up on her finger after all. Their wedding was held at the Rycroft United Church on July 15th, 1967. Jean cried through most of the service, especially when they were pronounced man and wife. They settled in Grand Prairie and moved into their first home in 1969. They welcomed their first daughter, Charlene, in 1972, and their second daughter, Cindy, in 1974. Jean was an incredible mom and wife, full of positivity and humor. She juggled the demands of work and being a mother with grace, which is no small feat. After long days of teaching, she'd still find the energy to drive her daughters to countless activities, bake unique birthday cakes, and spend many evenings sewing intricate Ukrainian dance costumes. Summers were often spent helping her mother on the farm, and Jean took great pride in passing down cherished family memories or traditions, like making pierogies and nalaneska. Did I pronounce that right? Excuse my Ukrainian. From scratch. Jean devoted countless hours to helping her girls study for exams, always reminding them that effort mattered more than the outcome. To Jean, doing one's best was always enough, and that encouragement made all the difference. That same uplifting energy she gave her family was just as present in the way she supported students in her classroom. She began her teaching career with the Grand Prairie Public School District in 1966 and soon found her true home at Parkside Elementary School, where I met Jean. Jean had an innate gift for teaching others to read, whether young or old, and a deep love for social studies. She brought her lessons to life by weaving in her own experiences, travels, and Ukrainian heritage. Her classroom was a place of curiosity and wonder, where students learned not just from textbooks, but from real-world connections and heartfelt stories. Jean's impact as a teacher extended far beyond the classroom. She nurtured not only minds, but hearts, and the lessons she shared will live on through the many lives she touched. Her daughter, Charlene, fondly remembers being a student in her mom's grade 3 social studies class. Direct quote from Charlene, "Mom always made learning fun and hands-on. Seeing the excitement on her face when she taught inspired me to be a teacher. One of my most memorable experiences was when she took us on a field trip to the Grandview Hutterite colony to learn firsthand about their way of life. Mom often brought artifacts from her travels into the classroom for us to touch and experience. She had a special love for the Inuit culture and her Ukrainian heritage. Making pisanka, Ukrainian Easter eggs, with kishkas and beeswax candles was another annual activity in her classroom. And thankfully, there were no major disasters. During Jean's last year of teaching, Charlene had the unique privilege of teaching with her at the same school. Jean then retired in June 1997, but her passion for teaching never waned. She continued to substitute teach until 2012. Jean and Albert's family grew to include two sons-in-law, Wayne and Jason, and 3 cherished grandchildren, Samuel, Hannah, and Ari. Jean loved them deeply. She found joy in helping them with schoolwork and teaching them to read, always eager to support their learning. She loved watching their dance, piano, and singing recitals. Jean passed on her love of both travel and volunteering, inspiring her grandchildren to explore the world and give back to their communities. A tireless volunteer, Jean was a pillar in the Grand Prairie community. She generously gave her time to more than 30 organizations, offering her energy and heart wherever it was needed. Teaching adults how to read at the Reading Network, helping out at PACE, crewing for hot air balloon championships, working the gate at Bud Country, supporting numerous festivals, coordinating themed rest stops during bike-a-thons, working casinos for various groups, or selling snacks at the Grand Prairie Live Theatre. Her lifelong commitment to community service was honored in 2005 with the Governor General's Caring Canadian Award. Jean had an adventurous spirit. Over the years, she and Albert traveled by plane, land, and water, embarking on 38 cruises, making friends and memories across the globe. In addition, Albert and Jean took their girls on several road trips across North America and later took them and their families on cruises to Alaska and on adventures in Mexico. Together, Jean and Albert cherished their annual winter getaways, making the lengthy 5,115 kilometers drive to Puerto Vallarta every year. Once there, Jean fully embraced the vibrant Mexican culture, seizing every chance to learn the language, connect with locals, revel in the music and dancing, and of course, haggle at the beach and market stalls. She's very good at that. It was during one such spirited bargaining session that a vendor famously exclaimed, "You crazy lady?" Charlene asked me to say this with a thick Spanish accent, but it's as bad as my Ukrainian pronunciations. A phrase that became a beloved family catchphrase. When she wasn't immersing herself in local life, Jean could be found playing cards with friends or indulging in fresh shrimp. Ajo, right? Ajo? Fresh shrimp? Oh, that's garlic. Oh. From her favorite outdoor kiosk. Jean was a devoted fan of The Young and Restless, with a special fondness for the legendary Victor Newman. It's beyond my time. She also had a deep love for classic country music, often listening to George Jones and Don Williams. It's entirely possible that her famous line, which I'm sure many of you have heard her say more than once, "It's hard to be a woman in love with just one man," was inspired by those smooth-talking heartbreakers and maybe by Victor himself. She found joy in the simple things of life, such as phone calls with family, free slot tournaments at the casino, playing canasta in Claremont on Sundays. This is a good one, distracting the cashiers with Albert's help at Superstore to get the deal of the week for free. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when that was happening. Word searches, of course, she loved. Casino lunches, playing bingo on Wednesdays, and calling into CJXX to announce people's birthdays. She will be fondly remembered for her quick wit and quirky sense of humor, her uncanny ability to get a great deal and lots of free stuff as a result, her ability to redirect conversations away from gossip, and her unwavering commitment to her community, and her deep love for family and friends. Jean's family would like to express their gratitude and appreciation to everyone for their love, support, and valued friendships during her life. Thank you.
Wow, good turnout. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Cindy Inman, previously Cindy Zatelny. I'm Jean Zatelny's daughter, if anyone doesn't know. Anyway, thank you for being here today. It means so much to all of us. My mom was an amazing person. She wasn't perfect, but none of us none of us are perfect, but she loved unconditionally. We didn't see eye to eye on everything, and I definitely put her through some tough times over the years, but no matter what, she never gave up on me. That kind of love is rare, and I'll never take that for granted. There were many nights, like so many nights in my 20s, where she'd wait up for me until I got home, just to make sure I was safe, and more times than I could count, she was the sober ride for me and my girlfriends, no matter what time it was, so we could all get home safely. She didn't lecture, she just loved us. My mom had a strong sense of justice. She taught me always to stick up for the underdog, to stand up for myself, and to include people. She didn't just say it, she lived it. That's something I try to carry forward in my own life and with my daughter, Ori. She gave me the practical stuff, how to cook a turkey, and I'm sure that my brother-in-law is thankful for that, seeing as my sister is a vegetarian. And, right? Every Christmas, every Easter, every Thanksgiving, right, Wayne? And she taught me how to make pierogies by hand, and I'm so grateful for that now. My mom could also be a little tricky. I remember one time when I was 9 years old, she woke me up one morning, and it was a school day, and she goes, I've got a surprise for you. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going somewhere that starts with the letter D. And I thought, oh yes, Dairy Queen. I was so excited. Maybe I get to skip school and have ice cream. She said to close my eyes and not open them until we got to where we had to go. So I was like so excited. I was so dreaming about that ice cream. And then when we got there, it was the dentist. I was not impressed. But that was my mom, always keeping us on our toes. And when I was about 7 and my sister was about 9, we were outside of the front of our house with our mom, and it was a really hot day, and my mom was wearing her favorite bikini top. I have it right here. Probably fits me now. Yeah, she called it her poussiere. Okay, so anyway, my sister was always trying to get me in trouble. So she dared me to pull my mom's top part of the bikini string. And I am not a chicken. I am not a chicken. And I believe that our neighbor Wes was outside at the time. Wes, I don't know if he's in here today, and I know Carol, his wife, is in here. But anyways, he got an eyeful that day. So anyways, so I pulled the string, and my mom screamed, and she turned around, and we ran as fast as we could, and we locked her out of the house. And I was like, oh my God. I think, oh my God, how long can we keep her out of the house for? We were like, I don't know. Oh man, Charlene was always trying to get me in trouble. So then what happened was, I know I'm probably talking too long, but anyways. So we heard the doorknob. We heard the key in the doorknob. And we're like, oh no, we didn't know the S word then. But we're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Like, we can't, there's nowhere to hide. She can get in the house. And so she got in, and we're like, what? She got the keys from the neighbor, Wes, you know? So, not a good situation, not a good situation. We never did that again. Jeez. She loved her grandchildren so deeply, whether it was helping them with the school work, especially my daughter Ori, because we lived there for quite a while after I got divorced, cheering her on talent shows and teaching her new words in different languages. And she was always there giving hugs and always showing up when Ori needed help. And she was, or when I needed help with Ori, she was always there for me too. Being a daughter, I didn't always appreciate her advice in the moment. Sometimes she'd call me and say, "Come over, I got something to show you." And I'd go over and it would be some clip from Dr. Phil or the doctors and some life advice that she thought I needed. This is where the eye roll comes in, but anyways, but you know what? Looking back, she was always usually right, I have to admit. Okay, so I was like, oh. But anyway, she even had advice for my dad, like telling me to trim his eyebrows. Like, cut those things already. He'd say, "They're my eyebrows," and then it's like, but she goes, "I have to look at you." It's like, so then he goes, "Okay, happy wife, happy life." So I miss her so much, especially on the drive home from work. That's when I call her. I miss hearing her voice, you know? That's the worst. I miss my mom. But this is supposed to be a celebration, right? But it's okay to cry, and it's okay. But I'm glad we shared some laughs, because it's not all about being sad. She wouldn't want us to be sad all the time, right? So I love her, and I miss her, and I'm grateful that I got a chance to tell her that I loved her before she went. And to tell her thank you for everything she's done for me, and to get her to forgive me for the crap that I put her through. But I mean, like, yeah, I was not the perfect daughter, but like I said, nobody's perfect. But she was happy when I got sober, 23 years ago, not counting. But it's only one day at a time. But this is not an AA meeting, so I'm going to stop. One day I hope I get to see her again, but until then, I'll carry her love with me always. Forever, I'll love my Mama Mia. And I'll always be Sinead, her little lady. I love you, Mama. I can't forget the bra.
Thank you for those great memories and laughs. And I hope that this few minutes has given you an opportunity to gather your thoughts and your stories and perhaps your courage to come up to the mic. I would like to open the mic now for those of you who would like to share a short story or a memory of Jean.
My name is Betty Gruno, and you know Carmen's name. It was with great privilege that we, as two of Jean's many lifelong friends, share some of our special memories of our unforgettable mutual friend with you during this celebration of life occasion in honor of our dear Jean.
We are gathered here today to pay tribute to a remarkable life, one of a loving wife, a devoted mother and grandmother, dear sister, a loyal friend, and a master educator. In her 83 short years of life, Jean managed to pack in a lot of quality living and truly exemplified a vibrant and spontaneous zest for life that so many of us enjoyed whenever we were in Jean's company. Her personal attributes easily ranged the full gamut from A to Z and were consistently reflected in her daily interactions with everyone who was fortunate to cross her path in life.
Jean was well known for her many achievements in life, making it difficult to rank them in order of importance. So we will pay tribute to the ones that come to our minds straight away. I first met Jean at Parkside School, where we were both teaching during the 70s, 80s, and then the 90s. We all were busy, but mothers like Jean were extra busy because they had preschoolers at home. Besides getting herself ready for work, Jean had to first take Charlene and Cindy to, I think it was Auntie Gertie's, or Grandma's, I'm not sure which. Yeah. And then she had to pick them up immediately after school. In addition to all the other things mothers do for their families, she did them. Seldom did Jean complain about things, but there was a time when she felt she was the only one who picked up clothes, shoes, etc., that were left laying around the house. She came up with a rather ingenious idea to end this chore once and for all by threatening to put everything she picked up in a garbage bag, and then her family would have to pay her if they wanted to get something out of that bag. Did she actually do that?
Yeah, it's called the Friday box.
Okay. And I thought it was a very ingenious idea to solve a problem. Despite these busy days, Jean was always well prepared at school, friendly and cheerful. In later years, when teachers were tasked with many more paperwork, most of which did not directly apply to planning and instruction, Jean was often heard to say, "Just let me close the door and work with my little goomers."
Jean's professional career as an educator was a true testament to her character, along with the many skills and teaching expertise she so willingly shared with her colleagues and students alike. She touched the hearts of countless children, including her own grandchildren, as she so naturally bestowed genuine care and concern, dedicated to dedicated and compassionate nurturing while guiding them through their individual learning journeys. Throughout the years, she gave selflessly of her personal time, trying to create a stimulating learning environment, dreaming up unique projects that would engage her students in unforgettable experiences, thus giving them special memories to carry in their hearts forever. I also ended up becoming a student of Jean's when I learned the intricate art of Pasenka, Ukrainian egg decorating, under her expert guidance. It became a very enjoyable and worthwhile hobby for many years, some of the eggs of which I still enjoy displaying at Easter to this day. Jean was a consummate lifelong learner, taking every opportunity to extend her eclectic range of interests, whether it be through trying to learn different languages, her favorite being Spanish, or adding to her ever-expanding vocabulary through word searches. It was easy to keep Jean entertained while she was in hospital, simply by bringing her a new word search book. to work on in her waking hours, along with her favorite Tim Hortons treat. Her face would light up when she opened up the bag to find a honey cruller or two to supplement her daily hospital food menu.
As all of you well know, Jean was also the consummate volunteer, working alongside her husband Al, whether it was for a community-based event or a project sponsored by a charity organization. Deservedly, she was eventually recognized on a national level, being presented with the Governor General's Caring Canadian Award in 2005. I will share a fitting quote that I feel sums up Jean's life commitment to helping others in whatever capacity she could, and it is this: "The dedicated life is the life worth living. You must give with your whole heart." Jean and Al were very fortunate to travel the world together during their illustrious retirement years. Carmen and I were among the lucky friends that Jean and Al invited to join them on several trips. We accompanied them on their Scandinavian tour in July of 1980. One specific memory I have of that trip is when we were in Copenhagen shopping in a huge department store. Jean was directionally challenged, so she was becoming very concerned that she would get lost very quickly, thus saying to us, "Please don't leave me. I will never find my way around this store or out of it or to the hotel." We collectively decided to leave the navigating task to Al, who was a natural at getting his bearings no matter what country we were in.
I also had the privilege of joining Jean and Al on a trip to New Zealand and Fiji in July of 1979, and Puerto Vallarta, along with my husband Doug, in February of 2020, which was one of the best holidays we've ever experienced. We didn't have a care in the world, as Al and Jean looked after every detail, from our transportation needs. Al drove around PV like a local. He knew every street and back alley. It was just amazing. To accommodations, to entertainment night plans, and to grocery shopping. Al would be back at about, 7:30 already, Al, and our food was there for the day. Like, we weren't even up yet. It was just incredible. During our last evening in PV, Jean cooked up a fabulous tasting fresh garlic aho. No. Aho. Oops. Oh dear, just hit me. Oops.
Find out quirky sense of humor.
Jean, if you're listening, I apologize. Shrimp dinner, which we still remember as if it happened yesterday. Such special memories to keep close in our hearts forever.
During the last few years, Jean was not feeling that well, and her mobility was getting harder and harder. She still managed to keep her interest in learning, traveling, connecting with people, cards, and arcade games, and most importantly, retain her unique sense of humor. As Carmen alluded to in Jean's obituary, Jean will always be fondly remembered for her quick and wit and quirky sense of humor. One never knew what was going to come out of her mouth during conversations on varied occasions. The only guarantee was that we were prepared to laugh. She never missed an opportunity to make people feel that life wasn't all that bad and to lighten up with a chuckle or two. Jean carried that sense of humor with her right to the end, despite her pain. A couple of times in the last few months, when the topic of dying came up, Jean mentioned that she was just going to fade away. Jean, you did anything but fade away. Those of us who were able to visit you during the last 2 weeks of life will always remember how strong, tenacious, and brave you tried to be, despite the realization that you were not going to be going home again. I hope that we can all be as courageous as you when our time comes.
A warm and heartfelt thank you, Jean, from each and every one of us whose lives you've touched in so many special and lasting ways. You will be deeply missed by all who had the good fortune to cross your path in life. Know that we will always keep you close in our hearts, cherishing all the wonderful memories you have left us as your endearing legacy of love. May your spirit continue to grace our lives with your soft presence. A quote, "A limb has fallen from the family tree. I keep hearing a voice that says, 'Grieve not for me.' Remember the best times, the laughter, the song, the good life I lived while I was strong." Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Betty. I'll put this in here for now. Okay. Okay.
Hi, my name is Sue, also known as Susie to my Auntie Guinea. Today brings lots of tears and lots of smiles as we reflect on memories of our Auntie Jean. I'm honored to share a few words about her. From a young age, we learned about our heritage and traditions. When visiting Auntie Jean at Easter, she taught us how to use a kistka and make pesenka, also known as Ukrainian Easter eggs. She would always say, "Дуже dobre," even when our lines weren't straight or we weren't making the wheat properly. But she taught us that we didn't need to be perfect. She also taught us about other cultures as she shared stories of her travels around the world. She showed us that we were never too old to learn something new while she was learning to cook from different cultures. She would let us play with her nesting dolls and her 3D puzzles from different countries that were so special. She showed us through reading, we could travel or learn about places without going or getting on a plane. Thank God, because some of us can't afford to get on a plane nowadays, but going to Auntie Jean and Uncle Albert's place also was always fun. Having a fire in the backyard, playing cards, or just sleeping over, and was always something to look forward to, and sitting at the table and having conversations. As a young adult, I remember her kindness to me and Shelley, and her sense of humor, and that so many of us here appreciated. There was always a place at Auntie Jean's to stay, as she always made us feel welcome as teenagers coming to Grand Prairie. We used to get ready upstairs at her place with our butane curling irons to go to the saloon, and she would say, she'd always ask if we shaved our legs, and then the next day she'd say, "You shaved your legs for that?" So As the years went by, I knew a few things about Auntie Guinea for sure. She loved Young and the Restless almost as much as you, Uncle Albert. I'm telling you that I can hear her now. We talked for hours on end about Young and the Restless. Well, it wasn't just Young and the Restless, it was Victor Newman that she particularly loved. But we would discuss that crazy show, and we'd always say, why do we continue watching this show? And I was like, it's because so we have something to talk about. We'd always just talk and talk and predict what was going to happen next. She was always super positive and full of humor. Even the last time I talked to her, I don't know if can I share that? Even the last time I talked to her on the phone, she was in the hospital, and I said to her, so Auntie Guinea, I heard that you have a little bit of fluid on you, and she said, Susie, I have more fluid than the Mississippi River. So those were her last words to me, and even though she was suffering, you know, I will remember her for her example of love and teaching, also love of teaching children, appreciating this, sorry, let's keep it shorter, but appreciating the simple things children say and do, how we can make a difference in their lives by teaching them to read or just sharing a story with them, how living life to the fullest and giving back to the community is so important, and how having fun with your partner can make all the difference in your day. So thank you for the example you showed us, Auntie Jean. We love you.
Hi, I'm Wayne Cote. Auntie Gin was my mom's sister, and of course we miss her dearly. And before I say anything further, we'd phoned her up when my mom was at my brother's place, and she wanted a joke, so my brother gave her the joke that he had at the time, and it wasn't so good. And so when I was talking to him, and he would have been here, but he had already planned to go to Mexico. And so I said, you know, that joke that Auntie Gin wanted, a better one for next time. Did you think of one? And so he gave him one for her. It's, where does King Charles keep his armies? And this is his joke, so don't blame me. And so I don't get it, but I'm sure Auntie Gin would. So where does King Charles keep his armies? In his sleeveys. So I don't know what that means, but so maybe people that are better at jokes than I am get it. But anyhow, so that was for his joke for Auntie Guinea. And so, but you know, Uncle Albert and Auntie Jean were like a second family. When I worked up north in Tumbler Ridge, I'd come in and I had a girlfriend in Grand Prairie at the time, and they'd welcome me just like one of their children, and yeah, they were just like a second family for me. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your mom with me. Also, their gift for investing in properties and that was shared with me, and because of that, you know, it's been a blessing to kind of carry that on in my life and our family's life. So very thankful for that, and just thankful for the deep love for family that Auntie Gin had and Uncle Albert has. You know, and because Auntie Jean just loved to have fun, and you know, I think loved to party a bit and that, and so and I think this gathering together is just another gift from her to us to get together as family and just celebrate her life and celebrate her. She is very special. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Buziak, and I'm one of Jean's last Ukrainian dance students. I'm here to perform for you today. Just kidding. I had the pleasure of working with that smiling face at Parkside School for 10 years between 1988 and 1997 when I left there and Jean left there. She was a pleasure to be around, always smiling like that and so patient. The chaos could be breaking out in her room, and it didn't seem to faze her at all. Instead, she'd look at you with this wry smile and say, I got to find a way to help those little goobers. That's a term you can add to that little booklet there that she used. But there's a lot of talk nowadays in education about getting more kids into the skilled trades and about job readiness, but I hope we continue to graduate people like Jean, who can find it in their hearts to come up with the time and energy to go out into their communities and try to make them a better place. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Janice Clem. I met Jean and Albert through Jean's sister Mary. Sorry. This lovely family helped me. I was with my husband for 34 years and going through divorce. And Jean, Albert, and Mary helped me through one of the roughest times in my life. I'd like to read for you out of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all possessions to the poor and give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easy angered. It keeps no wrongs, no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Jean and Albert have shown to many people, many family members, many strangers along their path. I had the opportunity to be with them last year in Puerto Vallarta. They came and picked me up. They took me for lunch. They had me over, we played cards. Jean, of course, won, as she always does. She told Albert he was not winning, that she was going to win. And of course, she did. They drove me back to a place that I was staying. I wasn't having a great time with my friend at that time. And they called me over again and we did things. And then they offered to drive me to the airport, me and my friend. And we kept in touch. I called Jean a couple days before her birthday this year, and we talked, and she said to me that, oh, you know, sometimes people go around their birthday, and I go, not you, Jean, you ain't going anywhere. So I work at the hospital. I also have a full-time job cleaning private homes and businesses. On April the 11th, I'm on the bus going to work. And I checked my phone, and there's a message from Cindy on Facebook telling everyone that Jean had been transferred from the hospital to palliative care. And I said right there on the bus, I had just finished cleaning someone's house for 4 hours in the morning, and I went to my boss and I said, I'm not working today, I'm going to Grand Prairie right now. And I said, I have a good friend that I need to see, I need to talk to before. Anyways, I drove through the night. My daughter came with me. My daughter got a speeding ticket that night. And we got here at 1:30 in the morning. The first thing I did in the morning, I went to go see Jean. And when I walked through the door, she goes, you crazy lady. Albert was standing there. And we talked for a few moments. And then I asked Albert to come in the hallway with me. And I talked to Albert, and I asked Albert if I could pray with Jean. And Albert said yes. So me and Albert went into the room, and we both held Jean's hands. And we closed our eyes, and we prayed. And crocodile tears are coming out of her eyes. And she thanked me. And then maybe 50 minutes later, Mary and some other people showed up, and then me and Albert went on an adventure. We had to get Jean's commode from the house. Well, then we had to go to the hospital because he lost some kind of diabetic monitor or something. So Albert, of course, showed me around the whole new hospital where I used to work at the whole hospital. And then we came back to the room and talked for a bit. And I was only there for the weekend because I had to return back to work on Monday morning. And at 7 a.m. on Sunday, I went to say goodbye to Jean and told her to give her hope that I'll be back on the Easter long weekend. And unfortunately, I got the call from Mary on the 16th saying that she had passed away. But I want to let you know that Jean accepted Lord Jesus Christ as her personal Savior. If there's anyone in this room that wants to say the prayer that me and Jean and Albert prayed together, I'm more than welcome to do that for you. Thank you very much. Crazy lady.
Whenever I chance to meet some old friends on the street, they wonder how does a man get to be this way. I've always got a smiling face, anytime and any place. And every time they ask me why, I just smile and say, you've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Well, people may try to guess the secret of happiness, but some of them never learn that it's a simple thing. Well, the secret I'm speaking of, well, it's a woman and a man in love. The answer is in this song that I always sing. You've got to kiss an angel good morning. Let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning. And love her like the devil when you get back home. Kiss an angel good morning. Let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning. And love her like the devil when you get back home. Kiss an angel good morning. She tried to hide it by the faded denim clothes she wore, but I knew she'd never been inside a bar before. And I felt like a peasant who just had met a queen, and she knew I saw right through her tight-fitting jeans. I asked her, what's a woman like you doing here? I see you're used to champagne, but I'll buy you a beer. She said, you've got me figured out, but I'm not what I seem. And for a dance, I'll tell you about these tight-fitting jeans. She said, I married money, I'm used to wearing pearls, but I've always dreamed of being just a good old boy's girl. So tonight I left those crystal candle lights to live a dream. And partner, there's a tiger in these tight-fitting jeans. We danced every dance, and Lord, the beer that we went through, I'm satisfied I did my best to make her dream come true. As she played out her fantasy before my eyes, it seemed a cowgirl came alive inside those tight-fitting jeans. In my mind, she's still a lady, that's all I'm gonna say. I knew that I'd been broken by the time we parted ways. And I know I held more woman than most eyes have ever seen. That night I knew a lady wearing tight-fitting jeans. Well, now she's back in her world, and I'm still stuck in mine. But I know she'll always remember the time a cowboy once had a millionaire's dream. And Lord, I love that lady wearing tight-fitting jeans.
Good job, Ori. Good job. What's what? Oh, one more page. Sorry, you missed the last page. Oh, there we go. I cuddle on my mummy's back. I love my mom, I say, and fall asleep to dream of another lovely day. Right.
Again.
Let's peek. Oh, more. Peekaboo.
All my exes live in Texas, and Texas is a place I dearly love to be. But all my exes live in Texas, and that's why I hang my hat in Tennessee. Rosanna's down in Texarkana, wanted me to push her broom. Sweet Eileen's in Abilene, forgot I hung the moon. And Allison's in Galveston somehow lost her sanity. And Dimples, who now lives in Temple's, got the law looking for me. All my exes live in Texas, and Texas is a place I dearly love to be. But all my exes live in Texas, and that's why I hang my hat in Tennessee. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Ay, 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 canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Ese lunar que tiene, cielito lindo, junto a la boca, no se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo, que a mí me toca. Ese lunar que tiene, cielito lindo, junto a la boca, no se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo, que a mí me toca. Ay, 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 canta y no llores.
Well, while I was familiar with Jean from Parkside School and from Grand Prairie Live Theatre, I didn't know her like most of you did, and I certainly enjoyed getting to know her by reading the advance copy of the eulogy and talking to you a little bit. And a few days after Jean passed away, I was meeting with a family whose mother had passed away and preparing for her funeral, and Jean's name came up. And I'm just so grateful that it did, because I realize what an enormous impact she had on our community. So as I was looking at the stories about Jean, I wanted to pick out just a few qualities of character that she shared with each of us throughout her life. Well, that was a tough order, because there were far more than a few, and I think I started with about 7 listed. Now I have about 20 listed, but I'm just going to share a few with you. Jean lived a life of great service. She gave her time to more than 30 organizations in Grand Prairie, and her service was honored in 2005 with the Governor General's Caring Canadian Award. Using our gifts to be of service is the fullest expression of our lives. Whatever we may achieve, the quality of our own life comes from the quality of our contribution to others. We notice what others need, we discover their wishes, and we respond helpfully without waiting to be asked. People like Jean, who want to be of service can truly change the world. Well, Jean also lived a life of great curiosity. Her love for learning started early, even if she wasn't excited about school that first day. But she studied late by the coal lamp and earned top marks. And then, as a teacher, she brought the world into her classroom through stories and artifacts and field trips. And then later in life, her curiosity came alive through travel and connecting with people from all walks of life. Curiosity is the will to discover new things and to constantly evolve. Curiosity can challenge us to have the courage to explore new knowledge, people, and experiences with passion. When we are curious, we broaden our horizons. We broaden our base of reference that allows us to develop a deeper understanding of the world around us. Curiosity is the sprout of all new growth and the gateway to wisdom. Well, these are admirable virtues, of course, but they pale in comparison to her virtue of love. Jean loved life, her work, her friends, her community, and most of all, you, her family. Love is at the center of our being. Love is the vital force that gives us energy and direction and affection for a person and a place and a thing, or even for life itself. She loved all of these things. Love is cherishing others and treating them with tenderness. Love thrives on acceptance and appreciation, and love has the power to heal. When it's nurtured by commitment and seasoned by kindness, just like we heard in the Corinthians passage, love is truly our greatest gift. Well, throughout her life, Jean shared these virtues with you, and there were many more: joyfulness, diligence, humor, generosity, her fortitude, her loyalty, her creativity, and her encouragement, her sense of justice, her ingenuity, and her optimism, patience. I could go on. But because Jean shared these with you every day of her life, that is her legacy for you. Her qualities of character live on through you in the example that she shared with each of you, and in her family through your very DNA. As you prepare now to go through a life without Jean physically beside you, you may find yourselves demonstrating a quality of character that she had. And I hope that when you do so in Jean's memory. And if you notice someone else doing something like Jean would have done or that reminds you of her, take a moment to thank them for reminding you of your dear wife, mother, grandma, sister, auntie, and friend. I'd like to close with a committal that we're very used to, the old committal at the graveside with ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And while, of course, I'm not doing that today, what I'm going to do is something that gives us the sense of gratitude, thanking Jean for being in your lives, letting her know that you're going to be okay, and letting her go. While I read the committal, you may hold the hand of someone beside you. You might want to bow your head. You might want to just put your hand on your heart, whatever is comfortable for you. Jean, you are so dearly loved. You are in our hearts and in our minds, and we'll carry you with us as we move forward with our lives. Everything you have done is still done. Everything we've learned from you is still learned. And so we will let you pass from this world for which you did so much and for which you continue to do, into the laughter of friends around a card table and the gentle hum of classroom learning. We let you go. Into the swirl of cruise ship music and the bright colors of Mexican markets. We let you go. Into the grace of family and community, where every life you touched holds a piece of you, we let you go. And into the presence of God and the peace you so deeply deserve, we let you go. Because when we walk this earth, we walk it with you. And your memory will guide us just as you did when you were at our side. For this, we say thank you and goodbye. Please stay for luncheon now. There's lots and lots of food, I'm told, so we will. Did you have something you wanted to share quick? Sure. Come. I'll just finish these announcements, but come. Sure. Yeah. So we're going to go into the other room. You can grab a plate on the way through, and there's tables in Prairie Hall for us. Jean will be laid to rest in Greenway Cemetery near Rycroft, and that'll be at a later date. If you would like to make a memorial donation, the family couldn't decide on what, because Jean loved so many things in our community. So please pick something that's near and dear to your heart and honor Jean in that way.
Hi, I'm Faye McKinnon. I'm Auntie Jean's niece. I live in British Columbia, and my mom was one of her sisters, and Jean was my favorite aunt, and I can say that in front of my other aunties too. And there's a few reasons. One is Jean did some teaching in Spirit River, and she stayed at our place. My mom is Olga, and I had to share my bed with her. Well, that's quite all right as long as she stayed on her side of the bed, because her legs would come over to my side, and I'd say, Auntie Jean, move those legs, those hairy legs, over to your side of the bed. I can't stand it. So after that, she had stayed at our place, so then not long after that, I went to Grand Prairie College for my first year of university courses, and Jean and Albert were renting an apartment, and because she had stayed at our place, and you know, the big family that is so close, they decided to buy a house because it's going to Grand Prairie. And they're so happy that they bought their first house. Yes, so I caused them to buy their first house. Now, one other thing about Jean and Albert is that one of the pictures you saw there, but I made a booklet of pictures of Auntie Jean from my photo albums with lots of captions too. Anyway, there's Auntie Jean and Albert on our couch in Spirit River. So Jean is wearing brush rollers in her hair and a light nightgown, dressing gown, and I thought, what the hell is he thinking of, dating this lady that wears rollers on her first date? But it had to be true love because they were together for that many years. Now, he didn't notice. Well, get your eyes checked. No, you relied on your heart, and good for you. Uncle Albert was the MC when Bob and I got married in 1982, and I was one of their bridesmaids too. But anyway, I've got this booklet, so I want you to come and have a look and make some comments if you like, and the girls can get copies if they like. Now, on a sad note, after Jean passed, my favorite aunt, what used to be my closest brother passed away, David Andrew Coe. So I had two things to deal with in my family. So Dave passed away a week and a half ago, and we're having a celebration of life in Brad Creek, Alberta in early October. And no funeral before that. So here are some pictures I collected of Dave and put into a booklet. So if you knew Dave, you might want to look at the pictures and make some comments, and I'll take it there when I go in for the celebration of life. But anyway, Auntie Jean, I on her booklet, I've got the world globe because of being a traveler. And then my friend helped me get the books with an apple. But she was so good at the computer, she got the apple put on the books and printed it together. So anyway, I do have some friends that know more technology than I do. So you're welcome to look at these books. I'll have them around. And like I said, she was my favorite aunt.
Thank you for that. And I think if you want to give them to Brenda, do we have a memorial table, Brenda? Yeah, if you want to give them, she can put them on there and thank you. So I'd like to close with the Lord's Prayer. And you're welcome to say it along with me if you'd like. Let's bow. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Should stay, I would only be in your way, so I'll go, but I know I'll think of you each step of the way. Bittersweet memories, that's all I am taking with me. Goodbye, please don't cry. We both know that I'm not what you need. I hope life treats you kind, and I hope that you have all that you ever dreamed of, and I wish you joy and happiness. But above all of this, I wish you love.
They read of a place that's called heaven. It's made for the pure and the free. These true I've held it all inward. Lord knows I've tried. It's an awful awakening in a country boy's life to look in the mirror in total surprise at the hair on your shoulders and the age in your eyes. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Well, a measure of people don't understand the pleasures of life in a hillbilly band. I got my first guitar when I was 14. Now I'm crowding 30 and still wearing jeans. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Amanda, light of my life, fate should have made you a gentleman's wife. Standing on a mountain looking down on a city, the way I feel is a doggone pity. Teardrops are falling down the mountainside. Many times I've been here and many times I've cried. We used to be so happy when we were in love, high on a mountain of love. Night after night I've been standing here alone, weeping my heart out till cold gray dawn, praying that you're lonely and you come here too, hoping just by chance that I get a glimpse of you. Trying hard to find you somewhere, love, high on a mountain of
standing stately in the hall. Will the timely crowd that has you laughing loud help you dry your tears when the new wears off of your crystal chandelier? I never did fit in too well with the folks you knew, and it's plain to see that the likes of me don't fit with you. So you traded me for the gaiety of the well-to-do, and you turned away from the love I offered you. All the crystal chandeliers line up the paintings on your wall. The marble statuettes are standing stately in the hall. But will the timely crowd that has you laughing loud help you dry your tears when the new wears off of your crystal chandelier? I see your picture in the news most every day, and you're the chosen girl of the social world, so the stories say. But a paper smile only lasts a while, then it fades away, and the love we knew will come home to you someday. All the crystal chandeliers light up the paintings on your wall. The marble statuettes are standing stately in the hall. But will the timely crown that has you laughing loud help you dry your tears when the new wears off of your crystal chandelier? When the new wears off of your crystal chandelier.
This love that I feel for you always will be. But you're not just time that I'm killing. I'm no longer one of those guys. As sure as I live, this love that I give is gonna be yours until the day that I die. Oh baby, I'm gonna love you forever. Forever and ever, amen. As long as old men sit and talk about the weather, as long as old women sit and talk about old men, if you wonder how long I'll be faithful, I'll be happy to tell you again. I'm gonna love you forever and ever, forever and ever, amen. They say time takes its toll on the body, makes the young girl's brown hair turn gray. Well, honey, I don't care. I ain't in love with your hair. And if it all fell out, well, I'd love you anyway. They say time can play tricks on memory, make people forget things they knew. Well, it's easy to see it's happening